This is CBN NewsWatch.
And thank you so much for joining us. It is Tuesday, January 21st. I'm Efrem Graham. Ahead today, the impeachment trial of President Donald Trump gets underway in Washington, with both sides deeply split over how to proceed. And the country remains deeply divided as well. Water out of thin air. We're going to show you how an Israeli company is making it happen. The dangers of socialism. While many Democrats embrace the idea, others warn it has proven dangerous time and time again. And Tim Tebow ties the knot. The former NFL quarterback marries his fiancée, a former Miss Universe, in a sunset ceremony in South Africa. We've got those stories and much more for you in this edition of CBN NewsWatch. We're going to begin this half hour with the Senate impeachment trial of President Donald Trump getting underway in earnest in Washington today. The White House legal team says the President of the United States did not abuse his power or obstruct Congress, and called the case against him flawed and a dangerous perversion of the Constitution. George Thomas has this look at what will be a contentious opening day in the trial on Capitol Hill.
As the Senate takes up the articles of impeachment, both sides are set to battle over ground rules for the trial, laid out by Majority Leader Mitch McConnell late Monday afternoon. McConnell wants to give each side 24 hours spread over 4 days for opening statements, with no guarantee that witnesses or new evidence would be allowed during the proceedings. Senators will then have 16 hours to question the prosecution and defense teams, followed by 4 hours of debate. Then a vote to decide if the trial should continue. McConnell's Democratic counterpart Chuck Schumer called the rules proposals a cover-up and rushed, and vowed to press for a vote on the Senate floor on the matter of permitting new witnesses and documents.
It's clear McConnell is hell-bent on making it much more difficult to get witnesses and documents, and intent on rushing the trial through.
And so now it goes over to the Senate, and all of a sudden, after a rigged process in the House, they're going to want to call for a fair trial and call for more witnesses because they didn't do their job in the House. It's not the Senate's job to mop up the mess of the House with this. It was a witch hunt clearly from the beginning.
House Democrats impeached the president last month on abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. The president's defense team released a 110-page brief Tuesday saying he did neither and that the charges against him do not constitute a crime or impeachable offense, calling on the Senate to reject the charges immediately and acquit the president.
The position is he didn't do any of these things, that he is innocent as a matter of fact.
The senators are set to begin debating the rules when the trial begins at 1 today. The president himself is not in Washington. He is at the Davos Economic Forum in Switzerland. George Thomas, CBN News.
And CBN News is providing special coverage of the impeachment saga. We'll be carrying the Senate impeachment trial of President Donald Trump live every day on the CBN News Channel. I want to turn now to China. The head of a government expert team says human-to-human transmission has been confirmed in the outbreak of a new coronavirus. That raises the possibility the virus could spread more quickly and widely. Face masks are becoming commonplace in parts of China. 6 people have died and nearly 300 have been infected in China. Initial symptoms of the new coronavirus include fever, cough, tightness of the chest, and shortness of breath. The coronavirus family includes a variety of illnesses ranging from the common cold to other illnesses like SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome. Thousands descended on the Virginia state capitol of Richmond Monday for an annual gun rights rally. This year, the attendance was much higher because of growing anger in the state over new Democratic plans for gun control measures. Despite credible threats of violence, the event went off without any trouble. CBN News national security correspondent Eric Phillips was there.
Gun rights activists who converged here at Capitol Square at the Virginia State Capitol are extremely serious about their right to bear arms. Many of them quoting that famous saying, "Give me liberty or give me death." And some even saying that if the government wants to take away their weapons, come and get them. No more gun control! Many of the gun rights activists who flooded downtown Richmond chose not to go onto Capitol grounds because there was a ban on weapons there following threats of potential violence. They wanted to freely and lawfully carry their guns, so they did so on the periphery. Those who took part in the rally inside Capitol Square had to go through metal detectors and strict security to make sure no guns made it in. Some say it was worth it, worth the sacrifice of temporarily surrendering their weapons to send a message while standing in front of the Virginia State House.
Gather north and don't poke the bear. And he has, and the bear's here today.
The crowd is galvanized by the specter of gun rights legislation that they call unconstitutional, sponsored by a Democratic-controlled House and Senate, the first time that's happened in a generation. Some say the bills punish law-abiding citizens.
You're not going to prevent drunk drivers by punishing sober drivers, and unfortunately that's what Richmond is trying to do.
Democrats say the legislation is about safety, not taking people's guns.
Give me liberty or give me death. You know, safety is not my goal. I want to be free.
Guns are in our veins in America. You can't just snatch these from us and think that we're not going to be, offended or do something about it.
As for whether or not this gun lobby day will make a difference in this Democratic-controlled House and Senate, those in attendance say that story will be told in the days and weeks to come. But one way they say they can change the narrative is in November at the ballot box. At the Virginia State Capitol, Eric Phillips, CBN News.
Eric, thank you. A new Disney cartoon is teaching children that being a witch is a good thing. But one former witch and lesbian told CBN's The Prayer Link parents need to be very careful about what their children are watching.
I actually watched a movie that was very popular when I was in high school. It was called The Craft. I was able to research and study and go to little shops, which you would be really surprised that you go into a shop and it's actually a witchcraft shop. And I'm telling you, it was one of the darkest times of my life. That realm is very real, just like the kingdom of God and the Holy Ghost is very real. So is that realm. And when you get in there and you open those doors, you need to be very careful because the enemy wants to take you out.
Now you can hear our God Delivered Jenny on our CBN program, The Prayer Link, and you can watch that this evening at 6:30 Eastern on the CBN News Channel. So what if you could get clean drinking water out of thin air? Well, it sounds like a magic trick or science fiction. One Israeli company has actually made it possible. As CBN's Chris Mitchell now reports, this groundbreaking development could be a solution to the world's water crisis.
The company is called WaterGen.
We are making water from the air. We think that we found the solution for the entire world, for the new source of drinking water.
And yes, it makes water out of air, as CBN News witnessed during a demonstration in Jerusalem. It's vital because the world can be a thirsty place. The UN estimates that more than 1 billion people wake up every day without access to clean water for drinking, cooking, or bathing. PASIC says WaterGen is working to solve this problem.
We try to bring this solution to the people as fast as possible. We are selling all across the globe in more than 40 countries, and we try to do it much faster, opening more production lines to bring it much faster to the people. The solution from Israel to the world.
WaterGen recently won an award for one of the best home appliances. It patented an inexpensive way to produce from 8 gallons a day for home devices to more than 1,300 gallons a day for industrial-sized machines.
With our revolutionary technology, we are extracting the water from the air with maximum efficiency. It's taking around 250 watts per liter. It's very, very cheap.
There's a number of uses. It can be used in drought areas, in remote areas, or after a natural disaster when clean water is unavailable.
We are sending our devices to emergency situations. We are doing it all the time.
WaterGen is also bringing clean water to underdeveloped areas in Asia and Latin America. PASIC says WaterGen fulfills the Jewish concept of tikkun olam, healing the world.
We are changing the world and we feel it daily to daily because we are making also a lot of charity activity. It's our duty to make tikkun olam and to bring from Israel those technology to the world.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Coming up, it seemed unthinkable just a few years ago, but socialism has gained a growing number of believers right here in America. We're going to bring you a look at the dangers of socialism, including what it means for religious faith. Stay with us.
Come home to the sounds of Southern Gospel from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern gospel favorites like the Gaithers, the Crab Family, and bluegrass sounds like Mountain Faith. So make yourself at home with the all-new CBN Southern Gospel. Now available at cbnradio.com.
Meet the pastors who are preaching the gospel in a fresh, fearless way. I'm Roberto Torres-Cedillo. Join me each week for Next Gen Voices. And watch God transform a generation.
Prophecy thousands of years old.
We were called to be a light to the world.
Being fulfilled today. Discover how. Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000.
We consider it our duty to reach out and help others around the world.
For a gift of $10 or more, you can own the acclaimed CBN documentary To Life. Just call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to cbn.com.
To treat a human, no matter what he is, which religion he has, which color he is. This is what I'm doing.
See how the people of Israel are fulfilling prophecy.
History is being written, and I want to be a part of it.
By sharing their knowledge.
In Africa, in Asia, in South America, in East Europe.
And their love.
This is how we work. This is us.
Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to cbn.com.
Young people, millennials, are flocking to church.
It's not an exaggeration to say that we love to meet them and that we love to know their stories.
Get the top political news and analysis from Washington on Faith Nation, tonight at 6 Eastern, only on the CBN News Channel.
Progressive and socialist views are well represented among the Democratic presidential candidates since their debates began last year, because a strong percentage of grassroots Democrats favor openly socialist policies. But many people don't understand what socialism really means or the terrible consequences it's brought to countries that have tried it. Jennifer Wishon brings us the story.
Not too long ago, advocating for socialist policies meant certain political suicide. But today, socialism is spreading through the halls of Congress as Democrats running for president race to embrace it. For 170 years, socialism in its various forms has been tried around the world, often followed by oppression, poverty, and failure. Experts are closely monitoring this new embrace of socialism.
They do want to turn America, as crazy as it may sound, into a socialist country.
Democrats call it a bold, progressive step.
I am going to go forward with a Medicare for all single-payer program.
So for people out there who like their insurance, they don't get to keep it?
Let's eliminate all of that.
We need to be bold. One of the reasons why I signed on to the resolution and co-sponsored the resolution for the Green New Deal.
Republicans argue it's completely out of touch.
America was founded on liberty and independence and not government coercion, domination, and control. We are born free and we will stay free.
And while promises of free stuff like college tuition sound great, for many voters, the devil is in the details. And socialist policy proposals are top issues for the 6 million members of FreedomWorks.
Americans don't support it when they understand who's paying for all this. Middle America isn't socialist. Middle America, they value freedom and individual liberty. These are the things that Americans have always held dear. They're our founding principles.
Webster defines socialism as a system or society in which there's no private property, where the means of production are owned and controlled by the state, a transition between capitalism and communism. Here in Washington, there's a memorial to the victims of communism. The goddess of democracy holds a flame over an inscription to the more than 100 million victims of communism and those who love liberty. Still, this political theory resonates with young people. In its annual survey, the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation found 52% of American millennials prefer to live in a socialist or communist country. 40% prefer capitalism. Although a lot of them aren't sure what it is. The survey also found a quarter of Americans say they never learned about communism in school. Here's what happened when campus reform asked college students about socialism.
It could really benefit our country in the future.
I think it's a good idea. Socialism as a concept, as a philosophy is good. I think that it's got a bad rep.
How would you view what socialism is, though? Economically, what is socialism?
Economically, I'm going to think about that for a second.
Since property is owned collectively under socialism, Edwards says supporters should get ready to hand over their smartphones and kiss religious freedom goodbye.
The first thing they do is to close down the churches, close them up, and go beyond that, and as a matter of fact, to eliminate, if you will, eradicate, execute priests, pastors, sisters, nuns, people of faith.
The absence of faith is why Joshua Moravchik thinks socialism has been so deadly.
There is no moral law. There's no concept of sin. There's no concept of righteousness. The only righteousness is political.
For Moravchik, loving and losing socialism has been a life journey. He grew up longing for it, serving 5 years as national chairman of the Young People's Socialist League, the same organization counting a young Bernie Sanders as a member. But today, Moravchik warns against it. He's the author of Heaven on Earth, The Rise and Fall of Socialism. And using history as his guide, Moravchik is disappointed to see socialism rising in popularity in the U.S.
I understand why I once believed in it, and I understand why other people once believed in it. But why people would go back to that idea, to me, 200 years, this idea has been tried in every way people could dream up, and it failed in every way.
Ultimately, Moravchik doesn't think America will ever become a socialist nation. But Edwards believes we're seeing the culmination of what Democrats have been striving to achieve for decades.
Whether you're talking about the New Deal, whether you're talking about the Great Society of Lyndon Johnson, whether you're talking about Barack Obama, Obamacare, and what he called bringing about a transformation of America. So they've been working at it for 90 years.
You know, candidates often tell us theirs is the most important election of our time. But in 2020, Americans may get to choose between capitalism and socialism. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Capitol Hill.
And still ahead, we're going to switch gears to personal health. In the new year, many people are trying to lose weight, but finding it hard to keep it off. One woman says there is a secret to permanent weight loss, and we're going to hear what she says it is when we come back.
Too often, we carry baggage from our past. You know what it's like. It affects everything and everyone in our lives. It's always there, weighing us down and keeping us from achieving true happiness. But do you know God never meant for us to be trapped in the past? You can be free of your baggage. Learn how God's forgiveness leads to changed lives and new beginnings. Call the 700 Club.
I'm Ephraim Graham, and this is Studio 5. Cruise with me as I discover the good things happening in the world of music, sports, television, and movies.
The fact that Ryan Coogler was going to be directing the film, I knew that something special was going to happen.
We'll chat with artists at the forefront of entertainment and explore the connection between popular culture and faith.
I asked my pastor, I said, well, does that mean I'm supposed to be a preacher? He says, well, no, you already have a pulpit.
Watch Studio 5, Wednesday night at 9:30.
Tikkun Olam.
This is our nature as a country.
to make the world a better place.
Literally, we felt the earth shaking.
The Christian Broadcasting Network presents To Life, how Israeli volunteers are changing the world.
This film needs to be seen by everyone. I was in tears.
Now you can own the inspiring documentary To Life on DVD.
There is blood on our hands if we know and we walk away.
I'm so grateful that this film was made.
To Life can be yours for a gift of $10 or more. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
We know that every minute counts to save life.
It'll bless Israel, but it'll also bless all the friends of Israel.
Discover the untold story of how Israeli volunteers are making the world a better place. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com to get your copy today.
Losing weight, it's one of the most popular goals people make. There are plenty of diets and weight loss plans and supplements out there promising to be the answer for all your weight loss goals. Sometimes, though, we succeed, other times we fail, and sometimes it can be a vicious cycle. But one woman says she has found the secret to permanent weight loss. Lori Johnson has the story.
For years, Shelley Bowdwin said she'd looked at her issues with weight as a physical problem that she needed to get a handle on, as she put it. However, in recent years, she realized that the problem wasn't really a physical one. She said she'd lost the same 25 to 40 pounds over and over again, while God was waiting for her to ask Him into her struggle with food and weight loss.
Often, when we struggle with weight or other life-controlling issues, what happens is, in this case, food is set on a pedestal, and it's set so high in our lives that it ultimately can require all of our devotion and all of our attention.
Shelley says that a person who struggles with weight is thinking about food in a lot of ways, from when they are going to eat it to how much, or even thinking about staying away from it.
It's a controlling, addictive thought process. And really, that's what God wants to set us free from. He wants us to look to Him. He doesn't want us to go to food when we're stressed. He wants us to go to Him. He doesn't want us to go to food to experience enjoyment and fulfillment. He wants us to be fulfilled and experience enjoyment in Him. And I believe that's really the difference. That's the difference, and that's the God difference.
She says we've divorced God in this area of our lives as Christians and instead looked to diets or other weight loss plans to lead us to victory.
There is no finish line in the weight journey. And unless you can come up with workable habits that you can see yourself following, then you're going to revert right back to the same exact habits, the same exact foods that you did at the beginning of your diet, and you're going to gain all the weight back. It's just a process. It's not if it will happen, it's when it'll happen.
Shelley wrote the book Find Your Way and a companion Bible study because she says God wanted her to share with others what He's taught her. She says she doesn't even discuss diets or goal weights. Instead, she addresses weight loss from what we believe about ourselves and what God says about us. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Now, to see more of Lori's interview with Shelley, be sure to tune into Healthy Living. You can find it tonight at 9:30 Eastern. And, of course, you can find that on the CBN News Channel. Coming up, former NFL quarterback and outspoken Christian Tim Tebow has tied the knot. We're going to bring you the details up next. Stay with us.
It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
From Washington, D.C., uncompromising stories, interviews, and analysis from veteran journalists David Brody.
Escalating fight.
Jenna Browder.
Chose his words carefully.
Ben Kennedy.
Plan to join him.
And Amber Strong.
For impeachment,
grows a little bit louder.
Bringing you the political news that matters.
We get out and tell the story of the progress that we're making in this country.
Watch Faith Nation, weeknights at 6 on the CBN News Channel.
We will move the American embassy to the eternal capital of the Jewish people, Jerusalem.
As the nations rage, you can stand with Israel.
History is being written, and I want to be a part of it.
Call 1-800-700-7000 and get to life.
This is our nature as a country.
Discover the untold story of how Israeli volunteers are changing the world.
We consider it our duty to reach out and help others around the world.
For a gift of $10 or more, you can own the acclaimed CBN documentary To Life.
To treat a human, no matter what he is, which religious he have, which color he is, this is what I'm doing.
Support Israel in their time of need. Get to Life, now available on DVD. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
And I wish that other people throughout the world could see this side of Israel.
It has the power to influence weight loss, boost your immune system, and improve brain function.
We've seen an explosion of data on the role of the gut microbiome in health.
The free Build a Better Gut booklet reveals the latest information about the gut microbiome. You'll discover how your gut affects the rest of your health.
The gut microbiome has been linked to depression and cancer and heart disease.
Learn how to build a stronger, healthier gut.
The microbiome, if it's in good composition, are really protecting us all the time from more invasive things.
Get the Build a Better Gut booklet, free from the Christian Broadcasting Network. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut.
You need to make sure that your microbes are working with you, not against you.
And if you order online, you'll get immediate access to the Build a Better Gut series, a digital copy of the booklet, and related bonus material. Build a Better Gut today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut for your free copy.
I am Region's first ROTC graduate student.
Tim Tebow and his fiancée, Miss Universe 2017, demi-leigh nel-peters, are now husband and wife. People magazine reports the couple was married in an intimate sunset ceremony in Cape Town, South Africa. They exchanged vows they had written for each other. The traditional ceremony lasted about 30 minutes. The two met due to Tim Tebow's Night to Shine event for people with special needs. Now you can see video of their wedding at cbnnews.com. Time now for your Tuesday Tweetable. This is a message I pray will bless you in your day, and hopefully you will tweet, tag, post, and share it with those in your circle. There is no God like our God. He is bigger than all of our questions. He is bigger than all of our fears. God is bigger than any mountain we can or cannot see. With that word, I encourage you to make today a terrific Tuesday. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN News Watch. Remember, you can find more of our CBN News programs on the CBN News Channel at any time. You can also find them online at cbnnews.com. We'd love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today. Feel free to email us. That address is newswatch@cbn.com. And of course, you can always reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Make it a terrific Tuesday. We'll see you right back here same time tomorrow. Goodbye and God bless.